Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to reintroduce one of the most storied video game publishers of all time. A publisher that once upon a time was known for their edgy, stylish, rebellious video games. And of course, I'm talking about We have seen Sega over the past couple of days tease that there is a new era with new energy coming for the longtime publisher. New era, new energy for the OG Blue brand, and at the Game Awards we got something way bigger than anybody expected. We got multiple announcements of old IP being rebooted for today, including Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Shinobi, Streets of Rage, and much more. According to Sega, they talk about how they were inspired by the massive success of Sonic the Hedgehog, and this has led them to try and recapture the energy of the Sega Dreamcast. Now, for those of you who weren't around for the Sega Dreamcast, fear not, because I also was not around for the Sega Dreamcast. I was still just a baby. The Sega Dreamcast can be summed up with just a couple of words: rebellious, edgy, stylish. Those are the words that are being thrown around for Sega right now. The quote from an interview from the Washington Post with the Sega CEO says, "We really want to show edginess and a rebellious mindset, recalling Sega's cultural impact as the alternative game console back in the 90s. Now, the title of this video is How Sonic Saved Sega, and before I explain that, let me first mention that Sega also credits Yakuza and Persona for keeping them afloat as well, which is no understatement. Both of those franchises have grown into healthy, productive franchises. The Persona franchise has done really great, especially with the release of Persona 5, and Yakuza has done fantastic with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth coming up in January. So I have to give credit where credit's due. Okay, now back to the video title. Sega has said, quote, "In recent years, Sonic the Hedgehog has forged new paths for Sega, bringing the franchise to life and reaching new audiences in ways we'd only dreamed of in the past. Building off that success, we're digging into our legacy and reimagining several franchises to bring these games to more audiences around the globe." This is just one part of the giant interview that they were talking about with the Washington Post, but to me it's the most important part. You see, during the years of Sega's struggles, we also saw Sonic the Hedgehog struggle. In a lot of ways, Sonic represents the heart of Sega, beyond just being the mascot for the publisher. And while this may seem like an obvious statement, I don't think it is. In fact, it's an underrated statement. Take Microsoft, for example, and Halo. Halo has seen so many setbacks over the years with Halo 4, Halo 5, and even Halo Infinite. And if you look at Halo setbacks and then also take a step back and look at Microsoft setbacks, it happens around the same time. Right now, as of recording this video, Halo Infinite is a blast to play. I mean, truly, the game is a wonderful time. And surprise, surprise, Xbox is also doing really well right now. They're in a healthy state with upcoming games like Marvel's Blade, Avowed, Hellblade 2, and more. But my point here is, when you can't get your mascot character right, what can you get right? Halo wasn't good for many years, and right now is doing very well, and surprise, surprise, so is Microsoft. And that's the same thing for Sonic. I mean, Sonic wasn't doing good for so many years, but now Sonic is doing better than ever, and oh, guess what? Sega's also doing better than ever. When Mario struggles, or I guess I should say gets stale, most of the time it means the other franchises for Nintendo might not be doing so hot either, and I do refer you to the Wii U. If you can't get your mascot right, what can you get right? That's the main theme here, and right now, Sega has gotten Sonic very, very right. And this energy that they found from Sonic has given them this hope for the future. It's unique, it's rebellious, it's one of the coolest things out there. Sega ultimately has one of the coolest IP and brands out, and it feels like poetic justice that Sonic the Hedgehog is the one that brought everything back. I'll never forget that first trailer for the Sonic movie, where we saw this abomination. It was disgusting, and I couldn't believe that somebody was actually in the studio working on the model for Sonic in the movie and came up with that. But that actually needed to happen because the internet not only slandered Sega and the movie character for it, but we got something beautiful in its wake. The original Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and then we have a sequel, and then we got Sonic Frontiers, and then Sonic Origins Plus, and the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and then Sonic Superstars. And it feels like because of Sega really taking the time to invest in Sonic, we have found success with this franchise. And now Sega's taking it to a whole new level. We are going to get Jet Set Radio back, which is one of the coolest titles ever on the Dreamcast, but more importantly in the video game history world. Like, it's truly one of the best games out there. We're going to get Crazy Taxi, which is one of the most beloved games. I even played that, and I didn't own a Dreamcast. It was amazing. Sega has an opportunity to really launch themselves back into contention like how they used to be. And all of this style and flair and charisma that I'm talking about, it's all based on Sonic the Hedgehog. This is what Sonic is, and hopefully the future Sonic games start leaning into this more and more. You see, the reason why I love the Sonic Adventure games is because it's oozing with charisma, style, flair, edginess. I mean, you can just feel Sonic's energy radiating from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. So beyond just the titles that Sega has announced, I honestly think this is one of the best things to happen to the video game industry in quite some time. With all the great titles released in 2023, it feels like this is only the start of something new. You could say we're about to blaze into new frontiers with video games. A new era where we see more creativity, more quality, and dare I say, more love put into video games. Gone are the days of copycatting loot boxes and stuffing battle passes into everything. Don't get me wrong, it's not like that stuff's gonna go extinct, but in 2023, we have seen the comeback of creativity across all levels. From smaller AA games like Hi-Fi Rush to smash hit indie titles like Sea of Stars or Pizza Tower, we have seen a return to form for classic franchises including Diablo and Street Fighter as well. And of course, we have seen the massive AAA blockbusters like Spider-Man 2, Tears of the Kingdom, Starfield, and more. The plague that was Battle Royale syndrome or loot box syndrome or Battle Pass syndrome, all that garbage is slowly fading into obscurity. And in its wake, we are getting the industry that we loved back. Its creativity, its innovation, its style, it's everything that made me fall in love with video games, and probably you as well. And there's no bigger indicator than that than Sega. I mean, Sega is re-finding themselves. They're reintroducing themselves, reminding them who the F they are. Sega's great comeback is not just good for the industry, it's damn near an inspiration. And that's the key word here, because some of Sega's greatest hits were born out of inspiration. Like Sonic Adventure 2, the passion of Sonic Team to take what was popular at the time and put it into a game led to, in my opinion, the greatest game of all time. But even if you don't think Sonic Adventure 2 is the greatest game of all time, it's still a really, really good game. And that love and inspiration led them to many more titles like the Jet Set Radios, Nights into Dreams, Shinobi, Streets of Rage. All of those amazing titles came from inspiration. It led to Nintendo having to compete even harder to make sure they weren't left behind. It led to Sony and Microsoft getting involved in the video game world as well. The ultimate winners here are us, the gamers. But all of that inspiration that the developers and the publishers get, it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's like watching artwork get created in real time. So yeah, this is a big deal, and as a lifelong Sonic fan, I can't stress what I'm about to say enough. I am damn proud of Sonic Team and Sonic the Hedgehog. One of the coolest characters ever almost went extinct, and the brand that made it almost went extinct as well. But through hell and high water, Sega fought back into this position where they can launch themselves back into the mainstream, back into the forefront of people's minds. And honestly, there's no better story than Sega's comeback. I mean, they never stopped running towards this moment. Sonic never stopped running towards this moment. All of the slander, all of the scrutiny, it's led to this. The moment where Sega's gonna put their foot down and scream to the heavens that they are back. One of the scariest things in life is change. You just don't know what's ahead of you, and trying to live with that uncertainty can really break people down, myself included. What makes this easier is accepting that there's going to be bumps in the roads, moments where you're not sure which direction to take and at what speed. But ultimately, like the greatest theme song in video game history says, you live and you learn, and it seems like Sega's doing that. They've lived and they've learned, and now it's a full circle moment because they are on the cusp of recapturing the energy of the Dreamcast. And honestly, that's all I could ever ask for. So thank you all for checking out this video. What do you think of Sega's great comeback and Sonic leading the way for them? Please let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know what game you're excited for. If you have played all of those old Sega titles, please let me know. I know, just telling you right now, obviously I'm really excited for Sonic Adventure, and hopefully they do a remaster of those, but man, Jet Set Radio getting a brand new reboot, I think that's the one I'm going with as my most hyped game from Sega coming soon. So let me know in the comment section down below, and once more, allow me to reintroduce this iconic brand. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Peace.